Hello everyone, it's time for Good Week Israel, where we bring you the most positive highlights from this week at ILTV. Get ready to smile because coming up, Israeli conservationists protect an endangered biblical bird. We'll visit a small Yemenite neighbourhood in Tel Aviv and bring back the music. Cancelled concerts are being rescheduled and Tel Aviv is on the list for new dates. Now, this is a story about giving credit where credit is due. And according to Israeli conservationists, one local bird is being cheated out of its holy status, while all at once being at risk of going extinct. Nittany Manson has more.
It's recognition worth fighting for. The Griffon Vulture is being grossly denied its biblical fame by being mixed up with the eagle. And it's not just that. These notably smelly creatures are also endangered. But in Israel, a network of conservationists are giving the fuzzy bird a new lease on life in a land whose ancient prophets saw in its soaring flight a metaphor for religious exaltation. Yigal Miller, who works to conserve endangered raptors, says Israel's Griffon vulture population has fallen to around 180 in the world after being hit by accidental poisoning and urbanization. So now Israel's Nature and Parks Authority are rearing the chicks in captivity.
פה אנחנו התחלנו עם גרעין רבייה שלנו מקומי, שעוד היה לנו מספיק, ומגדלים את הגוזלים, מאקלימים אותם, מרגילים אותם, ואחרי כמה שנים משחררים אותם לטבע.
And back to the namesake, which in Hebrew is nesher, the bird has often been mislabeled in scriptures, notably in the King James Version of the English Bible, which describes God as bearing the Israelites on eagle's wings rather than vulture's wings. And according to Israel's Biblical Museum of Natural History, many people still feel as uncomfortable as those 17th century translators did in identifying a vulture with the nobility it sees in the scriptures.
We all know some of the hot destinations around the world, London, Paris, Tokyo, but we don't always hear about the neighbourhoods within those cities and what makes them special. So our Shanna Fuld went to check out one little section of Tel Aviv that is making major news.
This is the Yemenite Vineyard. It's one of the trendiest sections of Tel Aviv, and it's just been ranked the 15th coolest neighborhood in the world by Time Out magazine. And best of all, I get to live here. Kerem HaTemanim is most known for Shuk HaCarmel, Tel Aviv's premier outdoor market, where you can find anything from the best grapes and figs to a new outfit. And if you ask longtime Tel Avivians, they'll tell you it has the most authentic restaurants.
There is a good restaurant, a lot of good restaurants, but you have to go to the Mafia, Yemenite.
The hummus is awesome.
But this neighborhood wasn't always a top destination. The area was once one of the poorest in the country. Established in 1904 by Yemenite Jewish immigrants, this area predates Tel Aviv.
It's like childhood neighborhood when I used to live. I love the vibe.
Today, though, there's construction around every bend, and real estate prices are rising through the roof. But despite the busyness, once Shabbat sets in, it feels like you're no longer in the middle of the city.
On Shabbat, there is no car around, so it's amazing. You sleep quiet.
Today, there are 50 tiny houses of worship in the 10-block radius. Locals tell us Yemenite families were so big, each had enough men to make their own Saturday morning service. And so, they built out their houses into private synagogues.
Back in the days, it was like a Yemenite Jewish neighborhood, very, close society.
Out of all the people that we spoke with here in the Kerem, there's one thing that everybody loved the most: the beach.
I wake up today at 6 o'clock, so I went to the beach, say good morning to the sun.
Nestled between the Shuk and the sea, Kerem HaTemanim is an oasis in the middle of Israel's busiest metropolis. So, it's no surprise this hidden gem has caught the attention of travelers from around the globe.
Now, right by modern Tel Aviv, you'll find Jaffa's Flea Market, or Shuk HaPishpishim in Hebrew. Here you'll find everything from second-hand goods to trendy cafes. Emmanuel Kadosh took the Shuk to Chic tour and returned with this spiced-up report.
I'm about to head over to the Jaffa Flea Market, which is actually one of the most visited spots in all of Israel, with close to 3.5 million visitors a year. Now, I'm going to join the Shuk to Chic tour with two of my favorites, so let's get started. How are you?
Well,
How are you? I'm so excited. So tell me, what are we doing on the Shuk to Chic tour today, and what are we looking at right now?
So Jaffa and the flea market specifically is one of the hottest places to visit in Israel right now. It has been for the past few years, but recently, since the development of the market with chef restaurants, boutique shops, many activities to do here. We're right now in the clock tower, which symbolizes the center of the city. It was built in the year 1900 and actually transformed this city from a religious destination, yes, specifically, to a more secular or civil society that instead of telling the time of day by the muezzin or the bells of the church, you have a clock giving you the time every half hour.
There's no religion to a clock, right? That's what we said.
Off to our first stop.
We're walking into space number 9, fairly new, original reconstructed arch, and right across from us, this ultra-modern shopping center. There are galleries, there are boutique cafes, there are restaurants.
Amazing. So this is pretty much the epitome of your tour, right?
Yeah,
It's showing you guys exactly from Shuk to Chic. This is the original, original stones that make it look authentic and make it look like the old Jaffa. And then you walk in and it kind of looks like a shopping mall. So this looks like one of those places that you're not really supposed to sit at and you're just supposed to look at. Can we sit?
I think you're supposed to sit on it. Why not?
I feel uncomfortable sitting on this artistic chair. You feel very comfortable.
It's art for the masses.
We can't bring one of these home. I would destroy it.
Maybe just the hat.
Maybe just the hat. I am in heaven right now. This is fruits. Heaven. It was all right.
Now, Space 9 was really cool to check out, but I wanted to see the real Jaffa market. Now, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but I did hear that a really famous TV show was filmed in the alley that we are about to walk in.
We're in the heart of the Turkish bazaar in the flea market district. A very typical alley to come and do some antique shopping, some galabia.
I saw Levi jeans. I saw Levi jeans.
There's everything of everything here in a very fair price.
Yes.
But also, this is actually the location where they filmed the series Homeland. And I'm no Hollywood actor, but at least I can show you around this bazaar very nice.
Let's go, let's go.
I love these horns.
Hold up, let's take a closer look at that.
All right, so this is like the most authentic place that I've seen here yet in Jaffa.
Absolutely. This isn't typical Tel Aviv. It would maybe remind you of some markets in Jerusalem.
Definitely.
But also some antique shops maybe in London, in Paris, flea markets. You could find here things that you couldn't find anywhere else.
Walk around a vintage shuk, you don't have to ask me twice. We passed by a perfume shop that actually custom makes your own perfume.
Perfume is our invisible accessory. Something that helps us to tell our story, but it's not visual.
It literally got to the point that I needed to be removed from the store.
Manuel, we're out of time. We need to go. The first place to make this area what it is, the chic from our Shuk and Chic. We're gonna go into the Pua Delicatessen.
Trust me, you're definitely gonna want to stop at Pua, which is a unique old-fashioned cafe right in the heart of the flea market that opened in 1999 and actually recently opened up a deli right across that I had to check out.
Beautiful Israeli cheeses. We have some kashkaval, some manchango, some homage that is made with olive oil, local, of course.
Meanwhile, this is really where my head's at.
You think he'll let me out of the store like this? Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. Dip in olive oil. You guys ever seen me go to a food store and not buy something? I have a problem.
At this point, these two tour guides know me
pretty well. If you start giving me food, I'm just gonna want more.
As we promised, a modern take of a traditional local cuisine. We have the mesabacha with spicy okra, with some tahina, of course, roasted in Israel, and some beautiful tomato paste. It is fantastic.
Stop making me wait, I'm hungry. You're jealous, I know you are.
Cheers!
Wow.
Come, you have to come check this out. What are we about to look at right now?
It's a place that needs no introduction. It is Palestina, Eretz Israel, old Israel memorabilia. It's beautiful. Let's have a look.
Have you ever seen so many things in your life? You guys may not understand where we're at right now, but you have to come here to experience it, to feel the authenticity of it, to see how many thousands of different things that there are here from old times, way, way, way old times. And Abba, this is your place. This is so crazy. There's so much to see here. Let's keep going. I tell you about letting me shop. Oh my God, whoever wore these is blind. Where has this been all my life? From now on, no one enters my house without this. So guys, we are at the literal flea market right now, right?
This is the part that puts the flea into flea market.
Yes, definitely.
We're gonna have a look around, maybe shop a bit.
I already have 4 things that I want to buy here, 4 to 10 things that I want to buy here. I'm a shopaholic, so you can't control me. But I did want to say thank you guys so much for touring me around in Jaffa, and we will see you guys next time we do a really fun tour around the city. Let's finish up the Jaffa Flea Market tour. I have my cheeses in my hand, of course, and we're heading to one of the oldest ports in the world, which has actually served fishermen, merchants, all different types of immigrants for thousands of years, and we're gonna go show you around. What you see behind me is an untouched and unrenovated hangar. And now it looks like this. Tons of restaurants, art galleries, and so much to do.
Over the years, the Jaffa port has suffered periods of neglect and abandonment. But thanks to a joint effort by port fishermen, local residents, and the Tel Aviv Jaffa municipality, the port now doubles as a fishing port, as well as an attraction that offers cultural, recreational, commercial, and tourist activities to the general public.
Let me let you in on a little secret. Israel has some of the best seafood in the world, and the people you see right behind me are actually going to catch the fish right now that I'm most likely going to be eating at this very restaurant.
And now on a more serious note, what does it take to protect one of the most sensitive areas in the world? Well, I rode along with Jerusalem's Border Patrol police to find out. 3 of the world's holiest sites inside one ancient casing, Jerusalem's Old City walls. Home to thousands, a tourist haven for millions. But underneath the surface, a simmering tension, always at risk of boiling over. This is the Old City's Damascus Gate, one of the most violent flashpoints in this intensely guarded area. And every person that walks in and around the Old City compound is putting their trust into a very special and diverse troop of security forces. Israel's border force is renowned for including many soldiers from minority backgrounds. 21-year-old Shoshana, just one of more than 2,500 women enrolled in the unit known as Magav. Who's teaching you how to speak Arabic?
Definitely my Druzi and Bedouin friends that I have on base.
Amid protests against racially targeted police brutality, Israeli forces face their fair share of heat. Most recently, in the wake of the killing of East Jerusalem man Iyad Khalak, shot by Jerusalem Border Police on May 30, in an incident now being investigated.
A lot of times when we check people, they say, "Oh, you're picking me," or maybe it's like racism or whatever they have to say. So like profiling. But I think also us having so many people from different backgrounds showing, but we're not. Like, we have Jews and we have Muslims and we have Christians and coming from all backgrounds, you know?
Joining a team of border police on patrol, we walk through an area where locals from the Jewish and Arab neighbourhoods intersect on their way to the Old City. The energy is tense, with the Temple Mount reopening after the COVID-19 lockdown and more people in the streets. Spokesperson for the Israeli National Police, Mickey Rosenfeld, tells me terror attacks in the area have increased.
When you look at the residents, you can see the look in their eyes. They're watching us. The female officers are watching them. There's a lot more interaction taking place. When we walk around here, nobody's too friendly.
Certainly not towards the border forces. And out here, as far as the police are concerned, everyone is treated as a suspect.
There can be a local resident. There can be someone who is looking relatively relaxed and calm. And they can be giving information to someone who is waiting 200 or 300 meters down the road near the Damascus Gate, and they know that our officers are approaching right now. And if that information is received, we could be under the threat of a potential stabbing attack, a potential shooting attack.
The local bus station in East Jerusalem, a known point of focus, as it funnels thousands of people every day towards what's known as a dangerous portal.
Where any potential terrorist that arrives in the area, if you mention that, he'll get off at the bus station. And then all he has to do is walk 40 or 50 meters to the border police in Damascus Gate.
So it's almost as though there's a triangular view onto that hot spot down there. Over here we have a guard tower, on the other side a guard tower, all making sure that the Israeli border police have a clear view of that entrance to the Old City, where dozens of terror attacks are thwarted every year. So let's head up to this guard tower and take a look at what the Israeli border police see. Let's go. Up on high, police are able to get a deeper insight into what they're seeing with their eyes and through surveillance cameras, aided by the use of computer tablets.
Sometimes there are stolen guns. You know, someone steals a gun, so they'd be walking around with it. And usually in this area, there should not be people walking around with guns. So if we did see that, we could check the gun, we could check the number.
Deep inside the belly of the Old City, police are monitoring the narrow laneways and intersections, with boots on the ground to respond to suspicious behaviour around the holy sites. But it's outside the walls that border police are most interested in. Preventing a terrorist from even entering through the ancient gates is the top priority.
If we make an arrest over here, it's tremendously significant, because if we catch a terrorist in the Old City, we'll have to shut down the whole of the Old City.
Now, one of the reasons these spot checks are being carried out is that police are looking for wanted persons, as well as parts of weapons or weapons themselves that are being smuggled between areas. In neighbourhoods like Atur or Ras Al Amud on the Mount of Olives, Jewish vehicles passing through, as well as security infrastructure, are typically common targets for vandals and attackers, prompting a boost in police numbers in 2016. The world's oldest Jewish cemetery, once a violent flashpoint, is now seeing a drastic decrease in terror incidents since a new police station was mounted at this strategic viewpoint. In such a sensitive melting pot such as Jerusalem, these police officers are always looking to be on the front foot.
Every night, our officers, both female and male, are carrying out operations in Judea and Samaria, and also in Jerusalem, in order to find potential terrorists, either from information that we're seeing on social media that's being put out and we're tracking, and therefore we prefer going to someone's house and knock on their door and bring them in and make an arrest and have them questioned, rather than a full-scale counter-terrorist operation.
It's a delicate balance to provide security inside an area unlike any other in the world, not just to respond to threats, but also to prevent them. Tracy Alexander, ILTV, Jerusalem. Every time you take a breath, you're fueling your body with energy. It's a natural process, and it's just the kind of thing scientists in Israel are exploiting, now extracting energy and power from plants. Nittany Manson has the details.
Photosynthesis, the process of how plants produce energy and oxygen. It's a fact that nearly everyone remembers from high school biology, and it's the same process on which today's solar panel tech is based. But Israeli scientists now believe that they can take this process one giant step further by programming plants to produce renewable energy. A recently published Tel Aviv University study now suggesting that basically any and every plant can be transformed into an electrical source, which can then be taught to produce a wide variety of fuels like ammonia and hydrogen. This then opens the door to a new field of agriculture equivalent to wheat or corn production for food security, but for generating energy, in light of how generating hydrogen and ammonia today relies on the use of fossil fuels. But all that said, researchers say it'll still likely be years before these results are up to commercial use standards.
Israeli organisations occasionally take to the beaches to clean the coasts of trash, but pollution at sea is far from the only problem, and one Israeli designer is bringing a creative approach in a bid to address the mounting waste. Nittany Manson has more.
Trash, trash, and more trash. It's an ever-growing problem, and with the coronavirus in full swing, it only seems to be getting worse. Face masks and gloves now littering the streets around every corner. But in addition to drawing outrage from the issue, an Israeli designer is now drawing inspiration. This is Glove Stories, a new Instagram feed created by Yoav Gatti, and it's dedicated entirely to bringing attention to glove litter by snapping pictures of discarded handwear and transforming them into whimsical characters. Each character even gets a funny personal backstory, like Fabio here, who is so excited to socially distance at the beach. Initially started out of disgust, Gatti says the page helps people take note without pointing any fingers. And now followers are also participating by helping name future creations and even posting some of their own. Still, despite Glove Stories' growing popularity, Gatti hopes the page can die with the problem that inspired it.
Well, it ain't over until Celine Dion sings, and now she will be once again for Israeli audiences. Here's more. And their hearts will go on. Celine Dion fans will get to see their beloved artist perform in Israel. The singer will take to the stage at Tel Aviv's Bloomfield Stadium on July 19 and 20 in 2021. Dion is one of several artists to postpone shows due to the coronavirus, and Israel's promoter saying it's a big win for Israel to get her back. It seems his prayers have been answered. And the bright lights are calling. Israeli pop star Noah Kiril has signed a recording deal with major US label Atlantic Records. It's the largest and most comprehensive deal ever signed by an Israeli artist. So it seems she'll have plenty to put in her pouch. That's all for today's Good Week Israel. Hope we've helped you start your week off with a smile. I'm Tracy Alexander, and see you next week.